The Oklahoma City Thunder hold off the Minnesota Timberwolves in a tightly contested game. Finally, this series gives us one of those instead of a blowout. 128 to 126 behind SGA's 40-point career playoff performance. So, of course, today we got to talk about game 4 for the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And can Oklahoma City actually close this out in 5? Before we dive into it, though, of course, I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below and let me know what you guys think about this insane game 4 that we got. Because when you look at an NBA basketball game in the playoffs, this is the type of game that I want. I want a game that is tightly contested the whole way. Now, if it's my team, I don't really want any lead changes, which you didn't see a ton of in this game, but I do like these tightly contested games where it makes you stressed out a little bit, right? It at least makes you wonder, can my team pull it out? But Oklahoma City, they answered the questions. They checked the boxes. Some of the things that we have complained about right here on this channel, these guys went out and they answered it. Like, they answered the call. They definitely did not leave any questions on the table. But this fourth quarter of this game was mind-blowing. I mean, Minnesota goes out there, scores 41 points in the quarter. Oklahoma City gets 38. And when you go look at the box score, listen, outside of the turnovers, Minnesota should have won this game. They really should have. And I think that's where we got to start today, right? In a 128-126 victory for Oklahoma City, the Minnesota Timberwolves have to look at the box score and say, what can we do better in game 5 to potentially give us a chance to win, bring it to 3-2, bring it home, and maybe try to push this thing to 7. Well, you can't turn the ball over 23 times. And we talked about that. If you guys remember, I've brought this up multiple times. We talked about that at the beginning of the series. We talked about it, I think it was last game, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are not a team that takes care of the ball well. So for the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the big things that they needed to do in this series was force Minnesota to create those turnovers, force those turnovers. And that's what they did today. They won the turnover battle 23-14. And when you look at the box score, that was the difference, because Minnesota made 2 more three-pointers than Oklahoma City. 2 more. They shot 7 more free throws. They made 6 more than Oklahoma City. They shot better from the field. They shot narrowly better from the three-point line. They out-rebounded Oklahoma City. They had more assists. The big thing that you look at in this game was the turnovers for the Timberwolves. That's what killed it. They don't have 2, 3, or 4 of those turnovers, and all of a sudden Minnesota probably wins this by 7 to 10 points. That's how big of a difference those turnovers were in this game. But give credit to Oklahoma City. They hung their hat on what they do well all year, and although the defense wasn't as great as you would have expected, they did intercept lanes, force those turnovers, create shot clock violations, which is some of the things that Oklahoma City has been very good at. And I really liked the defensive strategy for Oklahoma City out the gate here in this game. They made it known that Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle were not going to beat them this game. They were not going to allow it. That meant Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, anybody else can beat you in this game, but not Anthony Edwards or Julius Randle. And since that game 1, we have seen Oklahoma City pretty well take Julius Randle out of the series, which has been impressive, because I think there were a lot of people that thought Julius Randle is going to cook the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially after that first game. But you look at the box score, Julius Randle was a non-factor tonight. 5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. You look at Anthony Edwards, he was a -3 with 16 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. Now, give credit to Anthony Edwards, because he was really trying to get those teammates involved. Anthony Edwards understood the game plan from the Oklahoma City side. And he understood that Oklahoma City was still going to dedicate people to him driving into the paint. And all he needed to do was get that ball out to the corners. And he executed upon that. And the Minnesota Timberwolves almost won a game with that game plan from Oklahoma City. The thing is, for Minnesota, outside of the turnovers, something that I don't think they probably had on their bingo card was for SGA to go drop 40 tonight on 13 of 30 shooting, 12 of 14 from the free throw line, 2 of 7 from 3, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, a border narrow triple-double. With him having 5 turnovers, by the way. SGA did not take care of the ball tonight. But they did not plan on Jalen Williams to show up tonight. They did not expect J-Dub to be the guy that he was. 34 points, 13 of 24 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3. J-Dub was an absolute superstar from the three-point line for the Thunder tonight. And they needed that. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I was talking to Jay about this. If you guys remember, he came on the podcast a couple of days ago. I was talking to him about this, and we were talking about all defensive teams. There is a good chance in the next year or two you're going to see J-Dub on an all-NBA first-team defensive because he is that good of a player. J-Dub is constantly getting the steals, getting the blocks, making just as big of an impact as Lou Dort. But because Lou Dort is such a good defender, and he's always in the talk for Defensive Player of the Year, people forget about J-Dub. And people forget about J-Dub because you've got another guy in Chet Holmgren, who, again, tonight, I don't think the Minnesota Timberwolves expected him to go out there and get 21 points, go 2 of 4 from the 3, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Like, the Thunder Big Three answered all the questions. They did not leave anything on the table tonight. I have said it on this channel multiple times. J-Dub had to show up in the playoffs. And in the Nuggets series, I got on the J-Dub multiple times because there were multiple times he disappeared. He did not disappear tonight. He has not really shied away from the moment in this series. J-Dub has been fantastic. And if the Oklahoma City Thunder continue to get productivity out of their big three like this on the road, they're going to win the NBA Finals. They're going to. It's not a question. This team is just too good, too talented, too deep. But you look at this for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and, you know, this was a must-win, honestly, for both teams. Honestly, both teams, I think, needed to win this game. And here's the reason why. Because for Oklahoma City, you had a 2-0 lead going to Minnesota. You'll lose game 3. I think there was an expectation that Oklahoma City was probably going to lose one of these games in Minnesota. But you lose game 3, it's 2-1. You probably would have liked to have been up 3-0 before you lost the game. And so it's 2-1. You come into this series and you say, okay, if Minnesota wins this game, this is a whole new ball game for the series. All of a sudden, we're back to where we started. For Minnesota, this was you lose this game, you go down 3-1. Very few teams have came back from 3-1 down in the NBA or in the Western Conference Finals. Or I think it's any of the conference finals. And so if you're the Timberwolves, you needed to get this game and reset the series, especially since you're at home. And your role players are likely not going to play this good in Oklahoma City. And so if you're Oklahoma City, you get to take this thing back home. You get a chance to close this out in Game 5 in front of your own fan base to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2012, or to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. You get an opportunity to win an NBA championship against 2 Eastern Conference teams that haven't beat you all year. And a Knicks team that if they go 7 games, they're going to be tired. They're going to be depleted. You're probably going to have a little bit of rest. The future has never been brighter for Oklahoma City in front of them. You have to come out in Game 5 with the best game you've played in the playoffs so far, in my opinion. Because next game, I think, can really decide whether or not Oklahoma City can win this sucker. They win next game, they advance to the NBA Finals. I don't think it's a question at this point. I don't think anybody can question it. But, I mean, man, like, I'm sitting here, I'm just watching this game tonight. I'm obviously a little stressed out, like I said. You know, I like the close games. They stress you out a little bit. But I think that's like the nature of the competition. You want it to be a little bit tightly contested. You want to see 2 great teams go at each other. You want to see the constant adjustments. And you want to see superstars show up. Obviously, it would have been great for Anthony Edwards to just go through the Oklahoma City defense. But I think it shows more maturity from Anthony Edwards to identify what Oklahoma City's trying to do to him and to kick and defer to the guys that have the hot hand and that just continue to basically plays decoy. And don't get me wrong, like Anthony Edwards, he's going to be a great player. I think one of the things that if you're Anthony Edwards, that you have to work on, that you really can't adjust in this series, but something you need to work on in the offseason is kind of what Shea has in his abilities, right? You need to be able to go in and create mid-range shots. You are really good at explosive plays to the rim, kind of like how Westbrook was early in his career. You obviously like to take a lot of threes. You have that shot there. It's an area that you can continue to develop. But for Minnesota Timberwolves fans, you want to see Anthony Edwards create a mid-range shot and develop that, be able to create that space just like SGA does. Because I'm telling you, if Anthony Edwards does that, he is going to be a dangerous player for years to come. But the Oklahoma City Thunder win this game 128-126 behind SGA's career playoff performance of 40 points. So, of course, I got to hear from y'all. I got to hear what you guys think. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys thought about Game 4. What do you guys think the outcome of Game 5 is going to be? We'll see y'all tomorrow.